Okie dokie. Well, welcome everybody to this edition of Crafty Crows. I am your host with the hat, and Jason is going to help guide us through. We've got a really fantastic couple of features today. I'm really excited. I am really excited to hear you both. I can't remember the last time I heard Jude, so I'm dead excited to be your host tonight. The first half running order is already in the chat because Jason's so organised. But before we do that, let me just give you a little bit of the housekeeping here. Um, we are very respectful to our poets. We make sure that we mute for each of them so that their voices and their words can be heard. And if you want to unmute at the end and clap and cheer and show appreciative mumblings, then that's the time to do it after they've finished. We're being recorded because it's already been turned on, so please only share poems that you're happy to class as being published. Open mic poets, we can't wait to hear you, but we want to make sure everybody gets an equal time on the mic, so please keep to 3 minutes on your open mic slot. We love it if people share what they're doing, where they're performing, anything you want to around books, bios, events that are coming up, pop them in the chat because we want to hear what our poetry community are up to. And the Gloucestershire Poetry Society is a volunteer-led society, so if you can spare a donation, it would be brilliant, or even better, consider joining with a membership. So that's our housekeeping and comments in the chat, as you can see. So I get the delight of opening the open mic, and I've picked this specially because I'm sure you all know, as well as it being National Poetry Day tomorrow, today is the National Drink a Coffee Day or some such thing. So if you didn't, you now do know this. Coffee, cheers. I just happened to have a poem about coffee and I thought, well, let's share just a bit of coffee joy. So, doesn't have a title, but I guess we could call it coffee, couldn't we? She made coffee, scooped the aromatic, microscopic grounds into the starched white filter paper. She chose a mug, sensing the emotional mood of which lip she wanted to cup in her mouth. She waited, not static, moving and making the breakfast companion of Greek yogurt and berries. She poured the coffee, watching the bronze fluid lighten and steam its cascade into the mug. She added cream. Sensuously the thick liquid sinks and rises in swirls of white in brown. She drank the coffee, filtering her life into moments of bittersweet reflections and remembered joys. Yeah, that's how every morning starts in Kate's house. So here's cheering you all on the open mic, and the first one to follow. Can't wait to hear you, Michael Sindler. Are you ready? Over to you.
Blatantly. Okay, I'm going to start with one that's sort of about writing, actually, about revision. It's called White to Gray. It was a white to gray lie, first thought, best thought. We all change and rearrange, some more wisely than others. Some needed and some not, none completely without regret. There's an ink pool full of murdered darlings. Deleted digits left no detectable evidence. Slash line loses resonance, cut, erased, burned, buried. Sweet children in pen pushed over, scrap, type left in crater. Scanning finger finds fault. Last cut heals the whole. And this is completely different. It's called Icarus. There's a tumbling moment between the fear and fall. when Icarus realizes he won't miss flying at all. The water chants to greet him, raises up its wavy arms. It sings of new beginnings. It will show him all its charms. Daedalus tried to raise you. He released you to the sky, lost feathers and calculations, didn't know how far you'd fly. Hurtling towards the triremes full of fish and superstitions, the waxing angle of descent still eludes the mathematicians. And in that tumbling moment, Icarus sees love amongst the coral. Then his body hits the water as his story becomes immortal. I'm going to do one more short one, trying to keep in the time frame here. I hope I'm not going too far over. It's a distant gazelle. Muted dream from distant gazelle. Earworms insist, constant rattle anticipates dissipation. Rising mist as dawn's kiss muzzles, slow chord of anticipation. Blood and bone and flesh and muscle slumber before satiation. Silence slumbers towards withdrawal. Lock surrenders, key to castle. Muted dream from distant gazelle. Okay, great to be here. Thanks. Looking forward to hearing everybody and especially the special guests.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, I love the rhymes in that as well, and a beautiful rhythm as ever. What a great way to start. Next up on the open mic, we've got Consuelo. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Over to you.
Thank you. This is a poem that is in this, some of you may, I don't know if you've seen this anthology by Write Out Loud. It's their 20-year anthology. And it's supposed to be about echoes. I don't know. This poem moves, it starts in the state of Alabama, which is touches the Gulf of Mexico, and then it ends up in Birmingham. So I don't want you to be confused. You probably will be anyway, but that's all right. And it's epistolary, and it's written to a tree. And it has an epigram, which I will read. Okay. Dear/Pine. And the epigram is UK appoints a minister for loneliness. The New York Times. I wish you could have seen that Catalua hound beam the bluest eyes on me, burrow his nose into the cup of my palm. You'd laugh, my feet sinking deeper and deeper into the earth of the Eastern Shore Trail. I hear you laughing at my 22-pound knapsack. Hear you ask, what's inside of it? Literary journals, I tell you, glass vials of water, trail mix, smelling salts, a snake kit. You laugh, all of that for a stroll to Point Clear? Ah, I tell you, there's more. Tissues, 3 bandanas, 2 memory sticks. So here is the hound's message to me, all about his mundane routine, his running to his birth name, his meal after a walk. Using scent, he streams from snout to brain, my multiple rivets of stress, the hormones, the pist of cat, the pip of peppermint. I tell you, this dog reads all the holiness of my loneliness, knows my burden is likely to trash tissues, tear up my heart, make my brain barrel on the blacktop towards dementia. I never told you, did I, about the elderly man in front of the pre-Raphaelite paintings in Birmingham. We talked on about why I came to the UK, how I liked being in the city of steel. He asked me if he could hug me right there in front of fellow citizens. I said, okay, and felt a little less lonely. And you know what? He asked me again if he could hug me a second time. I couldn't say no, so I said yes. The paintings of willowy women stopping their weeping. I tell you, from inside those canvases, a glowing light crept onto the gray slate floor. Does it sound strange? The light seeping inside my rain boots.
Thank you. That was lovely. Really lovely. I like that last line. It's still kind of sinking in. But I'm the host, so I have to keep us moving on. So next on the open mic, we have Suzanne West. Suzanne, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I also need to say that I will have to leave early, so I'll apologize now. I have two here. This first one's called I Need to Weep. Everything in me is weeping lately. Not always, or I just disappear into the sea. I need to weep to keep my heart open, soft. I need to weep so I will stay awake to the cruelty being inflicted on our kindreds, including, of course, the myriad ways we abuse our dear Earth Mother and all of her children, who are also our children. I need to weep. I also need to remember and receive the blessings of the sacred, the gifts of goodness when they arrive in my day, the eyes of strangers that beam kindness and kinship, poems with threads of light that announce themselves and want to speak through my pen, symphonies of birdsong at sunset, beads of love that appear in my tangles of thought, wisdom whispers when I'm hurting, sorrow, pain, goodness, love, one word. And the second one is called Life Web. Young children say hi to squirrels, butterflies, plants, bees, converse with ducks, trees, the creek. They cry when we kill spiders. My granddaughter talked to flowers, chairs, doors until she was 5. They know their place in the web of life. They know oneness. Don't divide ordinary and extraordinary, animate and inanimate, superior and inferior. Human exceptionalism isn't a thing. Young children know there is deep wisdom in every form and in the formless, that a wise web nets us all. When I remember to dethrone my egoic self, break the spell of separateness, remember that I am birdsong and the sycamore roots, that I am the moaning glaciers and grieving elephants, I am humbled then. I remember my place. Thank you.
And again, I need to remind myself and the host and stop wallowing in the beauty of the poetry that's surrounding us all. That was gorgeous, Suzanne. Thank you. We don't have Rick in the room, I don't think. So we will move on to Ashley Edge. So Ashley, are you ready?
Perfectly timed, yeah. I was just getting really warm, so I'm just gonna also do that. I've got two, neither are massively long. Celebrating being queer. Let's do it. Okay. First one's about being trans. Fear not. As you sat on the sofa, perched ready for a flight, top lip quivering, glistening with sweat drops, you twiddled all your fingers entwined like stimming helped. I gave another nudge, another poke of reassurance that as long as you weren't dumping me, all else could be resolved. You said it wasn't right, stuttered out that you had lied, that hatred was in order for what you had kept secret. But I pushed as gently as I dared, cajoled you into speaking, with an arm around your back and a hand on shaking thigh. I promised you, I meant it too, that nothing really matters, just be true to you. So you said it loud with more than a stab that you'd been born a boy. I promised you, I meant it too, that nothing really matters. Your gender is, your gender was, whatever you say it is. Society can't dictate your thoughts or who you truly are. Your gender is, your gender was, whatever you declare. I do not care, I love you, see, for being is that simple. Cheers. And then I've got a found poem that I forgot. I don't remember writing this. It's supposed to be a song. I will not be singing it because I'm a poet, not a singer. Let's see if you can work out the song though. It took me a while. I am gay, I am queer, I am everything they fear. I am trans, I'm non-binary, I'm what they hate to see. I am open, I am loud, fuck they loathe that I am proud. I embrace all my sides even when they wield their knives. I am cut like a diamond, hard to shape, tough to mould. I live as the minority, ignore the patriarchy. They insist on obedience, they think they hold influence with what I do in my own home, with how I live or how I think. I live my life like it's my own, ignore the protests from the right when they insist that I conform with their unwritten rules. If I'm a poet, I should rhyme. If I'm a person, I should be straight, should be cis, should be them. But I am gay, I am queer, I am everything they fear. I am trans, I'm non-binary, I'm what they hate to see. Thank you.
Yay! I don't know what the song is, but I loved it.
Seasons in the Sun, I can't even, mate.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. I think you do need to sing it next time.
I deliberately made it so you couldn't.
That was brilliant. Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so Charlie, you're up next. Are you ready?
Sadly,
You're
Charlie
looking
isn't
around the
here.
room. I was going to say, I couldn't see Charlie then. I was thinking, never mind. We have the irrepressible Gerald Kells.
Hi guys. So a while ago, I went to a punk gig and I wasn't in the mosh pit, but two people in the mosh pit decided to collide with my knees. So I've been having trouble with my knees ever since. And it led me to go to the fracture clinic. And obviously you get poetry and stuff out of this. And there's two things you just need to know before I do this. First of all, Heart FM, for people in America, is a radio station which plays middle of the road crap. Secondly, this was the same week that various Christians were saying that there would be the rapture that week. That strange concept that people whose theology is only 200 years old have. Anyway, when they're all going to heaven. So that's the background to this poem. It's called Heart FM at the Fracture Clinic. It comes in 3 bits. 1. Waiting in the fracture clinic queue, I wonder if smashing the television with Heart on eternal drivel play is a capital offence. It's not just the mulch music or the unforgivably upbeat DJs. It's the adverts for Sky and BT on constant replay with their garbled terms and conditions, which sound like an LP played at 45 revs per minute, if you're old enough to remember such a thing. Principal among my complaints is the repeated advert for a book lending scheme to encourage people to read, which wouldn't be so bad
if I could actually read the book I brought with me in case there was a 2-hour delay at the clinic. I can't because of bloody Heart FM. 2. Waiting in the fracture clinic queue, still wondering if smashing the television with Heart on eternal drivel play is a capital offence. I turned to Google Docs and an hour in, having drunk my coffee and eaten my sandwich, being still not able to read my book, write a poem about bloody Heart FM and its numbing influence on fracture clinic waiting rooms, in particular those who wish to read Precious Bain in peace. When, miracle of miracles, as if to prove the power of poetry, in the middle of my second verse, they turn the TV off, and I can go back to Mary Webb. Put that in your pipe, Wordsworth, and smoke it, I think. And you too, Simon Armitage, even if both your knees are perfect. At least I'm free of bloody Heart FM. 3. In the silence at 1:40, still waiting in the fracture clinic queue, which isn't a queue because it's only me. And as the next fracture clinic patients start arriving, I ask, have they forgotten me? And the nurse smiles and goes to check. I feel sorry for the doctor. I mean, he's got to be nice, but I turn up with only an MRI to go on. All he wants is 5 minutes before the next lot of idiots turn up who got their legs hit at a gig. I wonder if he would sound less jaded if I told him about my recent miracle and how the waiting room TV narrowly escaped destruction. It's not quite the rapture, but at least Heart FM was, like the Antichrist, temporarily, I hope permanently, chained. That's my Heart FM. Hope they don't sue me. Thank you.
That was brilliant. I
True
hope that.
story.
I was going to say, did that really happen?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I kind of loved it and didn't because, you know, I mean, torture. Anyway, thanks, Gerald. Well, we don't have Kesbel, but we do have Clive. So, Clive, over to you. If you're ready to go now.
I am. You took me by surprise, so
I
hang on a
did.
second.
I did take you by surprise.
Yeah, right, hang on a second. I've just got to find my stuff.
Sorry, Clive, I should have let you know.
Yes, you should have done, you terrible woman.
What an
you.
awful hostess I am.
Okay, so I've got a new book out. I'll put the link in the chat for you to ignore after I've finished reading. I'm going to do 2. The first one is very short. It's a dribble, which is exactly 50 words short story, and it's called Magic. The 50 words doesn't include the title, so it's really 51. Magic. I was commissioned to write an article about the power of magic, and although I say it myself, I believe it is the most single brilliant piece of writing ever written in the English language. One in the eye for those who say magic isn't real. Unfortunately, it's disappeared. And the second one, this is written in me old style, the sort of stuff I was writing sort of round about the time of when the pandemic came out, sort of 2019, 2020. So if you don't like people taking a sledgehammer to politics, you won't like it. If you like Keir Starmer, you won't like it. If you don't like bad language, you won't like it. But everybody else will be fine. And it's called The State of Labour. This is brand new. I only wrote it a couple of days ago. Keir Starmer, Zionist apologist, poodle of Trump, licking his arse, sucking his stump to keep the cat tariffs down. Always metaphorically, no doubt. Not even Starmer, the pensioner harmer, no more a socialist than Clarkson the farmer, would stoop to the level of to suck off the devil for the good of the nation. His new Labour incarnation, with its Reeves and Lammy double whammy, attacked the sick, trampled the poor, whilst all the time making sure to protect the super rich, the billionaires. If you can't afford to eat, nobody cares. If you're sentient, you're fit for work. Don't be a scrounger, go out and earn. It's almost like he's clearing the way for that fabled day when the flag shaggers have their say, the knuckle draggers treat. Nigel Farage in Downing Street. But other than that, yeah, I love the Labour Party. Thank you.
I kind of want to say I didn't like that, but I do. Do you know what I mean? That was a cracking poem, Clive. Truth. Yeah, thank you. Well, even though I took you by surprise, it worked out all right, didn't it?
Sort of. I messed up a couple of times, but hopefully nobody noticed.
We didn't know. No, it was straight over our hats. Anyway, Marietta, you are next according to the order of things. So are you ready?
Yes, hello.
Over to you.
I want to share something. It is? Okay. So I have a poem published in Four Feathers Press. Losing hope. She doesn't lose her hope while praying. It is not simple at all, especially when the bells ring for everything that can rise and doesn't rise but sings. A scream may mean a nightmare or a fence circling the holiness when the infinite is inward. Life is an illusion or a mask of an ego to roll it down into that chaos bigger than Mar Imbrium or Sea of Showers. She thinks she has enough. Yet she is thankful to God, though her empty-eyed life looks like a glass-blowing robot or like an empty crystal of Murano. Maybe she wants an ending, not to be saved. Maybe she needs to think and to understand the senselessness of her human condition. She cannot keep up with anything new while being blocked in between disappearing things. Her shadow grows inwardly, grows into a gnawing fear, and draws an eerie silence of the walls, while chewing all her cubic dreams. She is afraid either of losing herself, either of her metamorphosis. The return into her inner whole is a ringed crawl, not a resignation, and maybe a rocking laugh. Above her head, a few clouds stand on the verge of their lightning. Maybe she needs God, but she thinks of those questions without answers, drowning her needs in drinking. She falls into another psychedelic sleep in which she cannot pray. Maybe to be in the arms of Morpheus is a haven to wake up in heaven. When should a word be considered lost? It is about Winnie from Happy Days by Bernard Shaw. Thank you very much.
That was gorgeous. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now we have Michael. Michael, are you ready? We'll look round. I'm not seeing Michael. Could it be Michael?
If I've unmuted myself, can you see me?
Oh, I can see you now. You're not named Michael, but if that's
No,
you...
I'm not. Yes, sorry, my computer wouldn't join. I'm on my wife's iPad.
Oh, I see. Well, absolutely. I
Apologies.
was going to say, you're more than welcome, Michael. Over to you.
Do I need to screen share? Is that something you make happen?
If you want
I've got nothing to share, but to make me bigger. Do you do that, or do I do it, or just get on with it?
I suggest you just carry on. Yeah.
Okay. Got a couple of short poems here, both about words. First, a bit dystopian. When words ran out. When words ran out, we thought it just a short sentence going on holiday, but it was more than that. Like a flock of young phrases caught in the crosshairs of blaze of pixels on portable devices. Like pamphlets, magazines adrift with poet and critic's compass lost, lodestar replaced, but not like with light, but like lone novels and murmurations of manuscripts for multi-volume series, some leather bound, took to flight. Like considered, weighed and tested thought, experimented with freefall, like a damburst spray of consciousness, aerosol of gabble, like nothing very much at all, like. And the other, I've got another quickie one, if I can. This is called Found Words. The Coventry lot. Everyone, Fire and Dust, very graciously published it and collected theirs a couple of years back. It's called Found Words. I found these words the other day. Idle. A gap in play. Doing nothing in particular. Some lay lazy louche along the line. Others cramped and cowed by end and dropped perpendicular. These are found words. Underfoot and in the hand, they mark where we edge, fit, fumble, and sometimes proudly stand. They measure the plot of ordinary moments, caress where days rise and fall, soft drape the bland, and scream in gaudy lights when we rise loud and tall. These are found words with which we dress the stage of every day, to honour, protect and burnish bonds that they might in ragged great palaver still hold sway. Thank you.
Marvellous stuff. Love that. What a way to finish the open micers. And we're moving now into our first guest slot, and I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Jude Marr. Jude Marr is a Pushcart-nominated trans poet and an editor with Animal Heart Press. His poetry has appeared in many journals and anthologies, and his next book, Silence Will Not Save Us, should see daylight in 2027. He now lives in Coimbra, Portugal, and we are delighted to have Jude here. And I'm going to hand over to you now, Jude.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. Okay. Hang on a second. There we go. An extraneous pop-up there. Well, it's wonderful to be here. I did not expect to be doing this, but I'm very, very happy to be doing this and enjoying all the open micers, of course, as well. I thought I was going to be one. But okay, so I've pulled together some slightly older poems for this because I'm currently involved in a project organized by Alan Parry over at Broken Spine, who some of you know. And this is the third wave of a project, which is a group of poets working on poems on broad themes. So we all have to write a poem on 3 broad themes. And the first one is nature. I am not a nature poet. So I have been, which is, part of the challenge, obviously. So I've been looking back through some older work to find what I have written that is broadly or narrowly or in some way nature related. Actually, quite a lot of stuff, but mostly I use nature as more symbolic than real. Anyway, so I found a few of these older poems. I picked out a few that I could read this evening that show sort of different aspects of that. Of course, we can interpret nature in any way we like, but some of these might turn out to be to guide me towards what this new poem is going to be, and I will write something new. Okay, so the first one is, I'm just going to minimize, there we go. So the first one's called Winter's Beak. Content warning for spiders, if anyone has a problem with those little creatures. Winter's Beak. Spider on a cold expanse of glass. Your padded claws, tiny to the human eye, never misstep. Your leg hairs hear the beat of winter's wings. Find my window's crack and crawl in. My home's dark, corners do not hide a broom. Make my room your own. Spin filaments as sanctuary, silk strong enough to catch the light. Cold-blooded spider. I know you do not fear winter's beak. Nature has made you predator and prey. Stay of execution is my offering. All I seek is fractal consolation from the corner of my eye. So that one, I think I wrote the first winter that I was back in the UK, in Herefordshire, having been for 10 years in the southern states, the United States. It was a bit of a shock to the system in a number of ways. And I'm glad to say that now that I'm in Portugal, I'm sitting here on the 1st of October, and it's a beautiful, or it was a beautiful, hot, sunny day. Right, so this next one is called Counting Feathers on a Dead Bird's Wing. And this one I wrote because I was trying to get into a publication that had a theme of like a Gothic theme. And the reason I wanted to get into that publication is because I was going to a huge writing conference in the US called the AWP, which some of you may know of. It's more of an academic conference. But anyway, I wanted to do a reading there, an offsite reading, and this was my route to that. So I don't normally write Gothic either, but this one, well, see what you think. You have always known fight, mighty breathless bird. You have always known the sweep of city canyons, echoes of glass and steel, your feathers against stone. But you are torn now, bird. Your wings splatter red, your ragged claws caught on winter's city wood. You are worm food, friend, suspended from a ginkgo's lowest branch as a subway's updraft breathes false life into your soft, dead underfeathers. Meanwhile, a figure, drab-dressed and wrapped in years, stands at the entrance to the metro. In their hands, a bodega flower, in their eyes, a knife, and as each petal falls, they whisper, life. In your eye, bird, a bolt of yellow, bright against darkness. In your eye, light, my friend, or a facsimile, as your ragged branches reach toward infinities of windows, and your claws, like sickles, close around remembered prey. So, as you can see, more city than a more traditional interpretation of nature, but nature, of course, is everywhere. So this next one is one of the very few actual pandemic poems that I wrote, in that it references that time. And at that point, I was in Tallahassee in Florida, sitting all by myself in my little cottage. Another day, another dead lizard. Today began with a haircut and ended in rain. Storms a ticker tape of cicadas lovesick and loud along old telephone lines. Storms a branch cracking like old bones. A single leaf drifts down, yellow, although August is not yet done. In my sunken yard, spotted mushrooms erupt among wet weeds. On my porch, the orange cat shoots out a paw. Odor old as rot surrounds a cottage in heat. Lightning as flash imprints a portrait of possum caught in scattered trash. Orange cat throws himself through a spider's diamante trap to land exhausted underneath my living room. Tonight, I find a lizard corpse under my bed. Orange cat's flirting again. The lizard's a gift or a premonition, dust clumped with shed hair, wound around small, stiff legs. In my bathroom, an ant tracks across soap. Okay. So, this one, and actually these next two are both from my collection, We Know Each Other by Our Wounds, which has now been out for a very long time, which is why I'm happy to be able to say that there will be a new book out in 2027, also from Broken Spine. But this one is written, and if you have the book, you'll see it on the page, as a series of short stanzas that are intended to be read across the page. So one, and then the next one is set aside, and then the next one goes back to the margin, and then the next one set aside, and so on. And they were originally designed to be read like that. But I'm actually going to read them as if it's two separate poems that speak to each other. Feeding time at the zoological garden. Zoo creatures, contained, wait to be eaten. Their city is under siege. Their keepers no longer recognize them. Not only elephants remember that they were artists' models once, captured in ink. Not only wildebeest sway in place, hip bones in extremis, shrunken hide ribbed. Not only chimpanzees scream. At the zoo gate, citizens, their bellies big with hunger, stand in line. Each holds a drawing of their dream animal, and in the other hand, a spoon. Citizens, admitted, shamble down zoo avenues in search of salvation. If a menu sketch matches reality, citizens may drool. One citizen leans light-headed against his destination cage. Inside, apes. Outside, vice-like hunger. An orangutan, hair delicate along the bone, threads an arm through bars, returns to citizen, his fallen spoon. Okay. So I'm just going to move quickly on to this last poem, which some of you may have heard before because I read it quite often. But it's right back into the center of the city. And it's To the Man Who Left a Jar of Bees at the Bookstore, based on a true story. Man in a blue coat, not yellow, what compels you to travel with bees? Are these your familiars, jarred and buzzy, waiting to break loose and juice you into action? Is that why you left them in the necromancy section? Man in blue, do you believe bees' pollen-coated feet can dance a dusty measure on your sleeve, and weave a constellation? Do you grieve, overcoated man, for bees so easily forgotten among books? You cared for them once. You punched holes in the lid of their glass cell. Bringer of bees, we have not placed your apiary in lost and found with umbrellas. Your bees, bless their soft, striped souls, are reading through glass from the Georgics of Virgil. We have shown them prints by Monet and Van Gogh. Blue man, blues man, come get your bees before we close. We bought them violets and now they are abuzz, getting down in their mason jar made for honey. We fed them sugar water on a spoon, then left them alone in orchestral scores. They're ready to jam. Bee man, do you keep bees for their sweetness? Do you believe they can heal your body with pain-killing venom? Do you want them to die for you? If your bees die, waiting, we will pour nectar over them. We will place their glass casket among the staff picks and prepare a waxen image as a monument. We will open our doors to bees who mourn. Thank you.
Jude, was that your last poem? Yes.
Sorry, yes, I muted myself because it was indeed.
That's what I thought. I was so enjoying it. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Lots of applause, and I'm sure people will let you know by coming off mute and showing their appreciation, because that was a stunning set. Really enjoyed it. I don't think it was long enough. However, I hope to hear you again, and maybe there's somewhere you can put in the chat where we could find you next, or people can keep in touch with you. We are about to go for a break. We're going to take a 10-minute break, as Jason has suggested. So all you mathematical genii out there will know that means we come back. My clock just ticked over at 8:05. If you are based in the UK, that is 10 minutes, and we'll see you back here. Okay, so welcome back to Crafty Crows, 1st of October edition. We have some announcements to make, I think. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, we do. The announcements to share with you are that on November the 5th, our feature poet will be Stephen Paul Wren of Molecules Unlimited. And yet to be confirmed, December, you'll have to wait. Or come to the next event and you'll find out then. That's the way to do it, isn't it? See what I did there, Jason? Professional. Right. So I was thinking, do I have a poem that has something to do with play? And as luck would have it, in a recent workshop, I was asked to write an anti-poem. So this is an anti-poem, but it's kind of got a few themes in that might be relevant to National Poetry Day and basically to the paradoxes of life. It's called Anti-Poem. I feel like my life has been an anti-poem. A people pleaser, running a counter-narrative, flowing the opposite way. So being able to explore the vulnerable is permission to play. Yes, adults, if we could just play more and rewrite the rules that write us all in, instead of defining ourselves by who we are not or what we hate, why don't we find the places our lives connect and amplify that? Why don't we co-create more community poems? Poets, let's unite the nodes of possibility, show one another where true connection lies. It's in the white bones of us. the red blood that flows in us. We can work a way to make this game, this fragile present, truly playful, if we connect these common truths between us. Which part of me is anti-you? Are you sun? Am I moon? Are you nurturer and I provider? Did we both become feminine? How can anything be anti if it's true? I am the question to your answer. Nothing truthful has a basis in forever. When something ends, was it foreseen? Is the beginning a shoot or the seed? Is night the end if I am nocturnal? Am I a man if my rhythm is diurnal? Do I die if my legacy is eternal? Am I a woman if I am maternal? And what happens if the answer to these questions is, I don't know? Perhaps this is the place where we both begin to grow. Okay, and leaving on that paradoxical note, we start the second half with the proper poets on the open mic, and we have a second half running order, I'm sure. And in the second half, we're going to start with, I'm looking to see who's in the room. I think it's Sheila who's up first. Just checking. Sheila, are you in the room?
I am.
Then
yes.
you're up next.
Unless it's another Sheila.
I was just worried about that, but I think you are our Sheila tonight.
Oh, good. When I lived in Australia, I wasn't the only Sheila. Anyway, you can hear me okay, can you? Right, good. Thanks. And it's great to be here again. It's probably several years, I think, since I was able to come here. So thank you very much for inviting me. And it's really good to be here. Gerald's poem, I think it was his first poem, tickled me actually, because I was going to start my poem, this one here, which is it won first place in happenstance. And I was going to start it by saying, I apologise for the word, which is a swear word in it. But luckily, Gerald used plenty of them, the same word that I'm using. So nobody's going to be worried about that, I hope. So it's a confessional poem, and the competition was for confessions. And it's a true story. Confession. She scrubbed my mouth out with Ajax once. She held my head under the scullery tap. My curls scrunched into the heat of my neck. My chin shoved onto the cold of the butler sink. Don't let me hear it. Don't let me hear it. Don't let me hear you say it, that bloody word again. Not ever again. There was a ripe plum swelling on my face, a clump of hair at my bare feet, a rabid tongue that burned in sacrifice, a line of teeth foaming a gurgled spit. When finished, pillars of innocence shone, with no stain of sin, and I would be fit, she said, for confession on the morning. But I couldn't tell, not anyone, what she did, the other thing she'd said. Apologies for the word. It's very apt, actually, from that point of view. It is true. Completely different tone here. It was listed in the Welsh International as a reasonably good poem, you know. And it is a bit like, well, not as good as Jude's, of course, but it's a sort of nature poem. Again, I don't really write nature poems, and he clearly does. Moths. She was painted black in that dark route, the needlewoman in her spun a coat of silk, and while hidden away she thought of the catwork, the sashaying. In her closed world she busied herself,
until she was ready to lift the corner of the skin, its skirt fanning outwards over the horizon of a cloth seam. She would never shine like her showy sister, but she had starved herself until streamlined to swallow instead the colliginous clouds in a dead night. Then, in the treehouse, she saw him, his hands fidgeting moths as he sewed stars into the hem of his wings, preparing for his orientation, drawing his map of straight lines, fixing his latitude, navigating the angle of his path against the moon. Then he saw her reach for the lamp, and he plummeted, spiraling out of course into her circle of flame. And for a moment, they danced together into that strange encounter, into the closet of light. The moths don't live for very long after that. You know, that's basically it. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Sheila. You definitely were our Sheila tonight. That was gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jason is going to read next, and then we will go for our second feature poet. So, Jason,
Thank
are
you,
you ready?
Kate. I wasn't going to read tonight because I'm basically knackered, but I've been really inspired by everyone tonight, so I'm going to just share one with you. And this was a workshop poem, and the brief was to write an imaginary painting in the style of an artist that you love. And I chose Arthur Berry, who is a famous poet, writer, playwright, and also an artist posthumously, who used to live in the Potteries, and portrays the kind of everyday working life of the Potteries and Burslem. So this is called Orate I, an artwork in the style of Arthur Berry. A wiry figure gives a nippy stare, rough as manual labour. Humble as pie and mash, he wears pride like silverware. A face full of untold hours, aged like July drought. Flush from a pint or three, spills the day to ears. A bloke, chewing words chock full of Chaucer, fills the air with bees, all bother of the day. The pub room is stark, slapped on paint for warmth. A scratched oak table holds his earthenware hands. Folk would be wise to not talk posh to his lugs. His teeth could cut through tin and eyes baked clay. He's full of conversation, held up by a padded chair, sandpaper tongue, loose as slip, bound for slag. A child could paint this, only if they'd lived to 40, broken rules and hearts, then spilled it all on paper. Brushstrokes like claw marks scratch echoes of this man. Like seeing a chap made of wire uncage his art. This master is no one's fool, canny as a fox in town, but warm as a family dinner between these lines. This brash depiction, enough to scare a murder off carrion, bleeds a life rich as dripping. Thank you.
And it's our treat that you were inspired to read, Jason. That was amazing. Thank you. Yay! I don't know who does those hand claps that sort of explode like that, but that's amazing. Okie dokie. So, our second feature of the night. You are so lucky. We've got with us next is Chris Hemingway. And Chris is a poet and songwriter from Cheltenham. His latest pamphlet, Hard Luck Hotel, was launched in June this year, following previous pamphlets published by Hedgehog Press, Indigo Dreams and Picaroon. He's appeared at various festivals, including Wychwood, Cheltenham Poetry Festival, that's where I've met you, Chris, and the Bristol Festival of the Sea. Chris volunteers for Cheltenham Poetry Festival and Parkrun, sometimes on the same day, and his job is in the NHS. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you. It's still saying unmute on my screen, but I'm hoping that I have unmuted. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, thanks very much, Jason and Kate, for inviting me along. Really enjoying the evening and hope I can add to it. Just a little quite quick note. I had a flu jab at work this morning, which may at some point fully kick in, but hopefully not. First poem I'm going to do is called Friday Street, and it's the son of all weekends. It's 6 p.m. on Friday Street, and every weekend there ever was started here. Happy half hours and sitcom nights, recorded before a sudden awakening in a live studio flat. It's 10 a.m. on Saturday Road, and the weekend stretches out through sliding doors to dual carriageways. But the coffee cups cool too quickly, and your head, light sensitive, drafts another crumpled sick note and drives you home. It's 4 p.m. on Sunday Close, and you start to put your clock back another day, then do the maths and smile. Resend apologies for everything you think you've ever said. Check it's okay. Check that everyone's still okay. Thank you. Thank you. So Jude and Sheila saying they don't write lecture poems. I don't write car poems, or I kind of don't. I write car poems about cars that go wrong. This is one of these. It's called Puncture Repair M5 North. Here on the slip road, where the cat's eyes darken, there is no cunning. There are no metaphors. Here on the shoulder, ground by shredded collars, there is no signal. There are no callbacks. Wrapped in picnic blankets, we take up stork-like shapes. The hazard lights flash, occasionally, faintly, then not at all, really not grasping the situation. Lorries fly past like estimated arrival times. One pulls up, changes a wheel, takes a payment, tail lights fade. And under the bridge, there are no rainbows. There is no silence. Tow trucks are lightly scrambled from Newport to Newbury, and later in the lorry park, with midnight radio plugged, relit, exit west on a service road, and still on the shoulder, a warning triangle, wedged, never used, and there is no silence, and there are no metaphors. Thank you. Yeah, these are all, I should have said, these are all relatively new poems, a lot of them coming out of doing a couple of those kind of try and write a poem a day for each month and see what comes out of it. Yeah, so not 100% for sure, but these are the ones that I managed to stick with. So I've never written a cozy crime novel. I very probably don't intend to, but I thought I'd dip my toe into the genre with this next one, which could and probably will at some point be a song. It's called A Competitive Edge Mystery. Welcome to the village of Competitive Edge, where Sunday supplementaries aspire, and the calm expressions harden if you tread upon the garden, and their elbows are much sharper than the wire. Welcome to the crossroads at Competitive Edge, where Henry Ashforth made his fateful pact. There's nothing more satanic than an out-of-town mechanic and a tyre wall which accidentally cracked. Welcome to the tea room at Competitive Edge, where the second hand is struck or stuck upon the hour, and the artisan baguettes get used as castanets as baffled tourists scramble for the door. Welcome to the village green, competitive edge. Henry snags his sleeve against a briar. As nods and knowing glances pass between the maypole dances, and effigies are carried to the fire. Welcome to the churchyard in competitive edge. Heads are bowed and choirs softly sing. Manuscripts are ghosted, named, addressed and posted, and another book is published in the spring. Thank you. So it's an odd thing. I think rhyming poems are supposed to be, one of their advantages is that you can kind of get through them and remember them without stumbling over your words. But somehow I've disproved that theory. Sorry about that. The next poem is called Dickens' Dogs, and the backstory is when my daughter's new dog was taken to meet my partner's older dog, and to avoid too sudden a meeting, we put the older dog behind in the kitchen and closed the kitchen's frosted door, through which said dog looked very mournful but very wise. And this poem is about the kind of messages both those dogs might want to send to me. It's called Dickens' Dogs. Dickens' dogs peer through frosted glass. Look at us, they say. One day all you see will be opaque as this. So raise a frosted glass to toast your clarity tonight. Dickens' dogs leap through hoops and garlands. Run with us, they say. One day you'll sigh and turn away, back within your bounds. So prop the gates wide open, scale their walls tonight. Dickens' dogs scratch at vinyl chairs. Talk to us, they say. One day all you'll want is to bark in reaction. So race towards the boarding gate. These dogs might fly tonight, or any night. Thank you. This one was from my Hedgehog pamphlet. I haven't, which is called Tea Stains on the Reading List. I haven't got organised to post details, so I can't post. I can't mark it at speed. I think that's the issue. But I'll try and put some stuff up during the rest of the evening. So I will also be listening, but I probably need to do it after my set. This is one I wasn't planning to read, but I went to see a play about Joy Division, the Manchester band, last night in Cheltenham, and so it prompted me and inspired me to dig this poem out from the Tea Stainers pamphlet. It's called 7 True Facts About Joy Division. It's not clear whether the long coats were functional or costume. Somewhere there'll be PhDs. And those neatly rolled shirt sleeves, like draftsmen drinking in a Geordie winter. Ian Curtis sang about choices running out and consequences, and that was something we could dance to. Being championed by an early evening TV presenter did them no harm, somehow. The footbridge by the Etihad looks like that NME cover photo, and still, fatalism runs deep in our half of the city. In our 60s now, and clever. We can track the influences, the tricks and traits, but we're reluctant to pull the curtains back too hard. And some nights when you went to see them, it was still dark outside. Thank you. And my last one, and thank you very much for listening. I enjoyed doing this. Is in a way kind of linked in with Clive's poem, and was written after the instigated Southport riots last year. It's called Towards Another Midnight Hour. Thanks, Jason. Thank you very much. Towards Another Midnight Hour. A city begins to face the light, realizing it can no longer hold the night. Shadows flow like water, crossing every street. At this appointing hour, the clock hands turn and point towards the stranger. They point towards the stranger, blinking in the sunlight, realizing he cannot hold the night. His shadow flits like wingfall crossing every street, at the traffic's hour, flashing signals at every turn. He signals that he will not turn or welcome in the stranger, speaking in the spotlight. He tries to re-invoke the night. A small crowd gathers just across the street at this appointed hour. At this appointed hour, the clock hands turn and point towards the stranger. Caught in the headlight and traces of the night before, a bottle breaks just across the street. The shadows growing longer just across the street. Another rush, another angry hour. He signals that he will not turn or point towards the stranger. A city begins to face the light and realize it needs to hold the night. It needs to hold and calm the night. The shadows cannot hold, not across this street. At this disappointed hour, the clock hands will not turn or point towards the stranger, standing in the fading light. In the middle of the night, crossing every street, in another midnight hour, another car will turn, another stranger visits under cover of the light. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was wonderful listening. There's something about the way you perform as well, which is very engaging. And as well as I think we've got thumbs up for the competitive edge, which you say is going to turn it into a song. Did you say it's a maybe?
Just needs chords.
Does it? I loved it. It was brilliant, and the whole set was amazing. Thank you so much. Ah, what joy! What joyous poetry we're having tonight. Oh, and it's a shame we've only got a few left, but they are fabulous poets, each and every one. And next up on the open mic is Cahal. I hope I've said that right. Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Well, not too bad. Thank you very much. Enjoying as always the evening. Thank you everybody for reading and anybody that reads after me. And thank you too for emceeing and Jason for organising all of this. It's always good to come along once a month. Okay, first poem I thought I might read to you was The Embrace. It's something that people do almost naturally. We don't really think about it too much, but it's always seemed to me a very important human interaction, probably more important than we give it credit for. But anyway, here we go. The embrace. We first must cross that space to self-awareness and accept what we find there before we can reach out to embrace or be embraced by another. There are no easy mountain paths to reach that summit, nor given time to catch our breath along the way. From sightless night to raging day, the uncared for heart can turn to stone, leaving the pilgrim soul alone, without a guiding star to lead it home. In dreams, I stand upon a silvering beach, looking out on an ocean wine-dark deep, to see the sunrise break first on the ring of day before the awakening of the sleeping world. Embrace vulnerability and risk that the knife may be driven deep, for only then can healing begin. And short little one for you. The magic of what happens. It's a phrase related to one of the old sagas from the Fenian cycle, where the hero Fionn is asked what he believes is magic in the world, and other warriors about the campfire talk about the clash of arms, the sound of dogs on the hunt, etc. And he says, the magic of what happens. I move between what is and what might be, seeking to anchor to the spoken word the magic of what happens on the wind, where myth and rhyme rides out with the she being the fairy host, of course. So there you have it. 2 little poems for you. Back to you and everybody. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Oh, they were amazing. So, I don't know, just really love the way you read those. That was really nice. We wonder if anybody else would like to read tonight. We have a couple of spaces at the end if you want to join in on the open mic. Just pop your name in the chat and Jason and I will arrange for that to happen. So, we have next on the open mic, Graham. Graham, are you ready?
I am, yes. Good evening, everyone. I've got one poem for you this evening, and this came out of me having the pleasure of taking part in the Great North Run about a month ago. And this is called Run Reflections, A Great North Run Experience. It took time to comprehend the scale, an event so large that I could not see the end of the people, and I was just one part, so small that some might not notice me, but I knew that my place was entirely my own, to take myself from city to see if I am able to finish, to test myself over all of the miles, to push myself to find my limit, and then go beyond. There were so many people, each with the same ambition as me, that I might just get overwhelmed or scared, so I had to build myself up slowly, arriving early to slowly embrace the swarm of humanity that have come out to run, embra- embracing my time with all the others. E- Each is searching for their own goal, for time or endurance, for friends or in memory, each will have their cause to aim for the finish and run for their reason, to run for their own adventure and motive. In the end, my own ambition changed. When I first set out for the time endurance, it moved into have an experience, enjoying playing my own small part inside the larger mass of people that not only who ran but came to support the scene, create something bigger than I could know, a sight and sound beyond my capacity to make an atmospheric wave of colour. So I managed to overcome my fears, to try and fully embrace my part in the greater mass of runners and viewers. But only when it was finally finished that I was able to process my feelings to what I had managed to achieve that day. I started in the city, reached the sea, crossed the line that marks the finish, and uniquely embraced the atmosphere, an experience that is all my own, yet shared with many other people that could never fully be repeated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Graham. That was fabulous. Really enjoyed that. And you may have noticed I went slightly out of sync with my who was next, but Sarfraz forgives me, I'm sure. Just keep you on your toes, that list in there is a guide. So if you're ready to go next, Sarfraz, you're our next open mic poet.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, I am ready to go. I'm going to read from this book that I've been reading from for ages. This one, if you can see it, called the Dying Art of Poetry, which is a bit of a pun on words, and it's not a dying art, of course, but someone actually did say that to me a couple of years ago, and I said, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, that title stayed with me, and I'm going to read from it tonight, and I'm going to read Rapture, and I hope you enjoy it. This one's called Rapture. I brought my ticket, now I want the ride. I want to taste the exotic, to glide, to purr. Let your skin breathe through fishnets, sultry lace. I want to capture all the emotions on your face. I want to taste every part of you, two bodies that fit like glue. Piece by piece, a release, gently gelling together the broken parts, your bodily fluids touching my heart. When you are inside of me, I open up far and wide. I taste the exotic. I brought a ticket. Now I want the ride. I hope you liked it. That's called Rapture. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's find because I have one more. And okay. Here's a bit. Okay. So the theme of love and lust. I mean, the whole book's not about love and loss, so please don't get too excited. This is called Dip My Toe. I want to dip my toe in, touch your skin, dive into a pool of sin. Let the blemish spread across the bedspread, an entangled mess, exposing the two of us. naked from head to toe. Let our love grow and grow, beyond the wetness, beyond salvation, right into the heart of me. I want to dip my toe into a pool of ecstasy. Thank you.
Oh, you,
I hope you enjoyed that.
thank you, Sarfraz. Yes, you took us somewhere else there. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay. So we have another poet added to our list. So we've got Robert next. Robert, Rob, are you ready to go?
I am indeed, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to read one poem for you today, and it's called Warfare. When did sport become war? When did the sports fields get turned into a battlefield? When did patriotism become a battle cry? All the hostility makes me want to curl up and die. When the Ryder Cup stopped being about golf, turns into the open warfare between America and Europe, when a golf course turns into a battleground, there is nothing fair about fairways. No one is green upon these greens. It is time to call time. Shout loud, enough is enough. When the American flag and Europe's flag marks opposing armies gathered before going into battle, when Trump addresses a crowd at a sporting event like a general addressing an army on the eve of battle, then things have gone too far. Friendly competition has tipped over into open warfare. I used to love spending the weekend watching these splendid sporting events between two great golfing nations. Now it has become a farce, a pantomime with a sinister theme, played out by zealots and fanatics. I feel sorry for the great golfers who have been reduced to pantomime villains. It turns my stomach to even think about it. Never mind watching it play out upon the global scene, upon the television screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. It needs to be said. So, two more poets to go, or even could it be three? Well, we have Ian Mackenzie next. So, Ian.
Hi, yeah, who'd have thought golf could be so exciting? Just get a few people drunk and start a fight. So, okay, I've got two poems from a new collection. It came out earlier in the year. That's published by Like a Block from the Blue. It's Finn Hall. I've got a link, I think, in the chat there. So I'm going to share screen because one of them has a picture element to it. Oh, here we go. And let's share. Okay. Whoops. Share. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So the first poem is called Perfect Days, which I took when I watched that Werner Herzog's film Perfect Days, which is set in Tokyo about a municipal toilet cleaner guy. It's one of the most touching films I'd seen in ages. So here it is in the sonnet. What is it to live lightly in the world, to find elevation in the mere mundane, taking delight in how each day unfurls, seeing beauty in a single drop of rain? How should we take pleasure in simple joys, in ways that leave no unsightly footprint on nature's pristine features, unalloyed, not marred by any muddied imprint. It is the joyful wonder of being free of the heavy weight of expectation, of seeing true splendor in simple things, to receive love without hesitation, a beam of sunlight leaking through leaf-crowned trees. These are the keys to unlock perfect days. So that's the first one. And the second one, so this is a picture that I saw that Finn Hall posted up on Facebook. He doesn't remember it, but I don't know where it came from. But anyway, this is the poem that came from it. It's called Lonesome Diner. One day we shall meet again beneath the neon light of a lonesome diner, bathed in its fake phosphorescent glow, gazing deep into the grounds at the bottom of our coffee cups. And we'll sigh as we gaze silently all around us, surrounded by a desert sky, the air cooling now as that furnace sun slips coyly behind the screen of mountain ranges, faded like deep-washed denim, and the thinning night air chills down to a refreshing, shady, cool, silken touch that permeates our sun-scorched skin and hair. And as we share this moment's stillness, echoing to a coyote's distant bark, our thoughts paired to the bare bones of long-passing melancholic musings, we'll ponder on past fading memories of lost ambitions as we drink in these silent gilded moments, oblivious to the grinding churn of busy lives, too distracted to think clearly, without remorse or regret, to see life as it should be lived, free of guilt, truly blessed. Thank you. Let's stop sharing. Whoops. There we go.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you've got the link to your book to put in the chat, but please do, so everyone can get their copy.
I put a link in earlier.
Did you do
Chat
that?
there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a few things going in that there chat. This is great. Pop things in there while you can. Alan, you said you would love to read, so you are next on the open mic. Are you ready?
Hello, yes. I think it was 200th anniversary of the first passenger service at the weekend. You may have seen that in the news. And of course, the railways were decimated in the early 60s with the Beeching reports, I think we all know. Well, perhaps today they may be serving us in some of the old routes serving us in a different way. This is called Early Morning at the Old Railway Walk. Finding no solace in sleep, I ascend a steep path. Commuters silent and chatty children once took. My mysterious cares cling, a melancholic morning mud. I step unsteadily, walking pole supported. The handrail surety gripped by generations past has long gone with the trackbed ballast. Cresting the summit, I puff heavily, pausing at the embankment's overgrown slab-edged platform, glimpsing ticketed ghosts floating amongst the swaying nettles. The corrugated sheets of its rust-streaked shelters, fallen, part reclaimed by nature, mimic ridge and furrow fields I once viewed from the 750. Totem nameboards and semaphore signals are absent, victims of the real 60s hammer horrors, demolition crew, and the auctioneer dispatches. Looking up, I count vapour trails smudged in a clearing sky, stirring distant steam memories of train-spotted departures. Walking on, I approach the old level crossing. Its once firm command sign is now redundant, for an instinctive whistle joins a joyful dawn chorus. I catch a return home on time for breakfast. taste buds salivating at a new day's sizzle, fried up on a fireman's shovel.
That's fabulous. Thank you for joining us at the end of the open mic, or is it the end? Well, no. We have a surprise for you. Maybe not a surprise because we've already said he's irrepressible, and it's irrepressible Gerald who's going to be the final poet to take us home. So Gerald, are you ready to?
Yeah, I did. I wrote another poem about my knee being damaged. I wasn't going to read it because there wasn't time, and then Jason said there's a bit of time. So this poem, I'm also proud because it was highly commended in the Siegfried Sassoon Fellowship competition. So if you indulge me, this is called On Hearing the Dawn Chorus After Injuring My Knee. There's nothing in the dawn chorus about pain, even though they must know what it's like. Those choir boy songbirds who must surely have experienced grievance, loss, injury, hurt. It's a young man's game, they say, this early rising, catching the worm, having sing-song sex and chicks and all that. But everyone has to make a home eventually. Duck and dive for a bit of nest material. And you can't be chasing twigs and moss without noticing the sparrowhawks waiting, boasting how nobody can see them from the bird table. Accept adversity, shut up and sing. Just sing, you sing-song birds. Your time will come for growing old. The knee poem. Thank you for indulging that.
We needed that, Gerald.
It's a really nice way to end as well.
It was really lovely. Okie dokie. Well, haven't we just had a brilliant time at Crafty Crow's October edition? I've been absolutely delighted to be your host, and I want to thank Jason for inviting me. I want to thank our features tonight, Jude Marr and Chris Hemingway, and all the open micers who just made it a wonderful first day of October. And come back, like I say, in November. Remind you that the feature then will be Stephen Paul Wren. Oh, that rhymed. From Molecules Unlimited. And yeah, have a great rest of your evening. And don't forget to have a playful day tomorrow on National Poetry Day.
And a huge thanks to you, Kate, for stepping in at last minute and doing a brilliant job.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I made a few little mistakes, but nobody noticed, did they?
Sign up for Gerald's new charity, Save the Knee.
Save the knee, yes. He's crowdfunding.
The wounded knee. Take care, everybody. Great evening again.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, please give to my knee.